I think choosing the right warehouse system for NetSuite can be really hard, and whether you're already using NetSuite, considering the platform, or if you've even started implementation and you haven't made that decision yet, hopefully this video is able to help with that. We understand that most companies are implementing a warehouse management system for the first time. Hopefully if you get it right, you're going to have it for many, many years and you may never need to change. If you're a seasoned WMS pro and you've implemented a few, you'll know this as well as anybody. On the surface, you can start to think that they all look the same. And what we believe is that it's the way you do it, not only the fact that you can do it, that's important in warehouse management software. And ultimately, that is what operational efficiency is about. Integration is a really good example of this. And the key criteria that we would consider if we're in your situation is thinking about things like the ease of the implementation, so what technical capability is required in order to do it. Secondly, the scalability. The key data point to look at for this is how many orders can it process. For example, what's the maximum number of sales orders that it could ship in a day, and which clients have they got that are using it in that way, and has it got proven results, and finally, does it support your operational best practice? They're the top four. So WMS Lite is the obvious place to start, and the great thing about it is that it's supported directly by NetSuite. They're consistently developing it and adding new features. It's also relatively low cost because it can be bundled in with your existing NetSuite licenses. The friction in terms of working with it, you can either get it through your NetSuite partner or the same NetSuite implementation team that are doing your implementation of the core product. And I think it's a great entry-level warehouse management system add-on for NetSuite. I think the key's in the name, it's WMS Lite. And that's probably the first kind of negative that you'd look to, is that it is just a light version. Although, as I've mentioned, they're adding new features all the time. A big thing for e-commerce companies that we work with is having completely paperless picking, and some of the picking methods at this point in time require you to print bits of paper or labels in order to support them. Another example is for B2B companies being able to print and use composite barcodes. So what I mean by that is having one barcode for an inner case and one barcode for the product, and the system being able to recognize that. And I think, for whatever type of business you've got, it will be in those finer details where you need to really map as to whether WMS Lite can do the job for you. Right at the other end of the spectrum from WMS Lite is to go for a standalone warehouse management system. I think if you do decide to go that route, you need to make sure that whichever middleware that company's using is NetSuite approved. The advantage of going this route might be that you can customize the integration quite a bit because the middleware partner will be focused on that. And it may also make sense if you're already using a piece of middleware, like Delboomi, for example. The downside to this is that, as you can see, you've got multiple points of failure. So you've got between NetSuite and the middleware, you've got the middleware itself, and then the touch points between the middleware and the warehouse management system. You're going to be reliant on that middleware partner for any configuration. Ultimately, it means you've got someone else that you need to manage. And if they're doing the integration combination for the first time, it's going to require more planning and ultimately more time. So you may need to factor that into your implementation plan. One step away from using WMS Lite would be to go with the native SuiteApp. And what this means is leveraging NetSuite's database. So you've got one system of record and having usually a web browser external to NetSuite to do some automated data capture. Now, the good thing about this approach is that they've often been designed to plug the gaps that WMS Lite can't handle, and you're likely to get a bit more functionality than what you'd have with WMS Lite. I think the downside to this is that they have been designed to plug gaps rather than coming at it from a position of trying to define the best operational practice for your business. The configuration is ultimately set using NetSuite, so there can be some restriction on your workflows around that. The way that licenses are structured can mean that you pay twice, so you have to pay for a NetSuite license and a license for the native SuiteApp. And finally, the thing that moved us away from this approach is that ultimately you're dependent on NetSuite for your transaction speed between the mobile app and the core database. We really considered all the options, and our final decision was to create an integrated SuiteApp. I think the awesome thing about that is that although we've got a separate database, which you also have to rely on, you get a PeopleVox bundle that's installed inside NetSuite. So when you log into NetSuite, you can see the PeopleVox tab, and within it, all of the integration touch points can be configured, even down to the frequency of them. You can map it to your PeopleVox account, and you can do all the field mappings within NetSuite. Once you're through that implementation phase, you're also able to make those changes yourself. Your team can understand it, and any errors or issues that occur, we use all of NetSuite's error logging so that you can do it all from within their platform. So the biggest downside for us for going for an integrated SuiteApp was the time, effort, resource that it took in order to design it in the level of detail need, build it, deploy it, and test it. I think we worked out it was almost 3 times more costly than just using a piece of integration middleware. For us, the benefit has been huge, and it's also shown the benefits that I discussed for our clients. If you'd like to discuss our approach or any of those approaches in more detail, please feel free to get in touch. Thanks for listening.